Hello my friends from the internets, Survive with Knife here today. Today I'm going to do another knife review, this time a little, I guess a little bit off the tactical bandwagon and more into the bushcrafting, outdoor, traditional type knife. And the knife I'm going to be talking about today is the Victorinox Farmer. Absolutely love this thing. I have a few others laying out here. I've got I think this is the little classic. I've had this one for a long time. Here's another one I've had for a long time. I don't even know which model this is. Here's the Cadet, which is in my EDC rotation. I'm going to be doing some comparisons between this and the Farmer. So, first of all, we'll start off with the handle scales. This is kind of a ribbed aluminum. It's my favorite handle scale of the Victorinox line of knives. I like these much better than the plastic version, which tends to, like this one here, you can see it's coming apart. They eventually come off. All of you guys have probably seen a Swiss Army knife without a side on it. I have actually one of those at home yet that I had when I was a kid. So the other thing that you'll notice is actually this knife and the Cadet are actually exactly the same width. And very similar tools. Actually, their tools are identical, except this one has a small knife blade instead of a file. So when it comes to that, they're actually completely identical in width in the middle. But you'll notice with the aluminum scale, it's way thinner. And these aluminum scales on these Victorinox knives are really nice and way better than the former plastic scales. Which the Farmer does have the aluminum scales. There is an actual stainless steel liner also on the inside of the aluminum scale. There is no locking mechanism really on these, except I guess these are slip joint locking knives. So just like a traditional Swiss Army, there is no, it just has a spring-loaded lock bar back here. Obviously you can push that down. There is no locking mechanism. There is actually a couple models of the Victorinox line that does have the ability to lock. I think their Trekker model, which I may be getting one of those, does have the ability to lock. Pocket clip, no pocket clip really on any Swiss Army knife. Solid lock bar spine right here. No jimping. No Swiss Army knife has any jimping, but for this small of a blade it's not really necessary. The blade steel on these are it's kind of the Victorinox classic proprietary steel. I think it has a very high chromium content, which makes it very rust resistant. I think they actually classify it to be X55 CRMO14. It is hardened to a Rockwell hardness of 56, which is kind of soft. So don't expect major edge retention and all that. But due to the very thin nature of the blades, I have noticed that even when these become a little dull, they still are excellent little cutters. So for the purpose of small tasks and stuff out in the woods, this is never going to be a primary knife for me. This is something to do whittling, to make a bow drill set. I've used it for that, to make the baseboard. And actually, let me just show some of the other tools here. The real reason that I love the Farmer is for this saw right here. I love that saw. And so it's got an excellent little saw in there. The other thing that I really like about it is the almost cut myself there. Is the awl. Now that is awesome. I love that. You can use that for doing repair and things like that, repair work. You can also I like to use this here edge to actually strike a fire steel. So that works pretty well also. So that's a great tool also to have. Factory edge on these, adequate. I've sharpened it a little bit a few times myself. Like I said, it's not going to retain an edge very well, you know, as well. Let me just say, I mean, it's not a bad steel. I'm not going to say it's a bad steel. It just doesn't have the edge retention of, you know, an S30V or anything like that. But it is actually pretty sharp. You can see there, it is still a paper slicer. So it definitely has the ability to do that. Blade shape and blade size is the next thing. This is where I wanted to compare it to the Cadet. For those of you, I know a lot of you guys probably have the Cadet, and this is, like I said, part of my EDC rotation. But you'll notice the blade here is quite a bit thicker on the Farmer. If I can hold it out there so you guys can see that. It has a thicker blade, so I really like that. It has more length, does come to a nice fine tip also, but you know, makes a pretty good strong blade for doing, you know, bushcrafting type tasks, where this is really just too small. This is a fingernail trimmer here and a, you know, a cord cutter. The knife weight on this, 3 ounces. That's excellent. Blade deployment, you know, just the standard fingernail into the slot and pulling it out. Ergonomics, you know, what can you say? It's comfortable. Nothing really fancy about it. Knife roll, well, definitely more just utility and I guess a little bit of survival bushcraft. You know, this works great for making a bow drill set. Actually, it works really well for that with the little saw and the knife. Also, you have a can opener here, which I have used. It works really well. You also have with a little flat screwdriver tip there on the end. The other is a larger flathead screwdriver, which has a cap lifter here, and then a small wire stripper, which I've never used, but I have used it to lift caps, and I have used the screwdriver also. So, you know, that is definitely useful. Cool factor? Not really. Everybody's seen a Swiss Army knife. The one thing that I like about these type of knives, and especially the reason why I even carry the Cadet, is they're non-threatening. You know, if I'm someplace where people are going to gasp if well, let's see, today my EDC is my 350. Okay, that may generate a little bit of reaction if you whip that out. If you pull out the traditional Swiss Army, nobody's going to give it a second thought. It even goes with the Farmer here. Now this here is not in my EDC rotation. This here knife I take out with me when I'm out on the trail, out in the woods, and camping and things like that. That's what that knife's for. That knife goes into my pocket, and this one comes out. So the last thing is the price. I think I got this one $27 shipped to my door. So, I mean, really, a lot of the Swiss Army knives are that way. You know, they're just great tools. They're durable. They last well. You know, especially with these aluminum scales on here, you don't have to worry about those scales breaking off, and I just think they're frankly just more attractive than the old red ones, which scratched up, and like this one here, you can just see it's all nicked and scratched, and both sides, they're, you know, they're gonna fall off here before too long. So the one thing about the ones with the plastic scales, they do usually include the tweezers and the toothpick, which everybody ends up losing anyway. So the aluminum scaled ones usually do not have those. So you'll see that they do not have, you know, the traditional toothpick and tweezers, and the Cadet does not either. But makes them very thin profile and just a better handle scale. So Really love my Victorinox Farmer. Here I'm just going to put out all the tools, make sure I don't cut myself. Trying to do this behind the camera. Well, there you go, guys. There's the Victorinox Farmer with all its tools out. $27. You can't beat that. Love this thing. Very happy with the purchase. And go out and get yourself one. $27. That's it. You won't be sorry. Well, there you go, guys. You guys have a great day.